They stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out and out lies that were really serious, and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must be accountability. There has to be actual criminal accountability for those who lied. And I can't wait to see this administration do it.
Megyn Kelly came out with all the precision of a political prizefighter. Hillary Clinton was the unlucky opponent in the ring. With each rhetorical slap, Kelly tore through decades of polished political armor, exposing the weaknesses Clinton has been trying to hide for years. It wasn't just a roast, it was a purposeful demolition that revealed all the scandals and inconsistencies. In the end, Clinton's painstakingly maintained image seemed more like a house of cards than a hurricane.
Hillary Clinton has a very weird and I think shitty marriage. I don't think she has a husband who is in love with her or faithful to her. And I think I can't really blame him because she seems to have accepted this behavior since the inception of their marriage. And so past his prologue, you're going to get what you tolerate. You know, what you permit, you promote. She spent all of her daughter's upbringing away, at work, at the law firm, in the White House, running for office. And
Hillary Clinton has spent decades navigating politics like a force of inevitability, with the confidence of someone who feels her place in history is set. By tearing down the carefully maintained facade and revealing a career built on survival rather than achievement, Kelly took aim at that self-constructed story like a buzzsaw. This was not cautious criticism, it was a scalpel slicing straight through the political legend's tissue to reveal its disagreeable core.
In the Durham Annex, like full screen grabs of the Russian memos that the Dutch got their hands on and leaked to us, where the Russians are recounting exactly what they saw Leonard discussing about this Hillary Clinton fan and emissary, Julianne Smith, and how they were going to stop Trump, undermine Trump, but most importantly, distract from Hillary's email scandal.
I possess complete screen captures of the Russian memoranda that were acquired by the Dutch and given to us in the Durham Annex. The Russians explained precisely what they saw Leonard discussing with Hillary Clinton's admirer and envoy Julianne Smith, and how they planned to stop, undermine him, and most importantly, exploit Hillary's email problem.
She was doing all this. And back to Hillary, you know, the whole, she has a hat she's tweeted herself out wearing, but her emails. She's tried to turn it into this ridiculous joke, like, oh, but the moon landing, like you nutcases who are still railing about this made-up scandal, this thing that, you know, you've used to try to unfairly tar me. She did need to distract from that email scandal, which was around her neck like an albatross. Trust me, we were covering it every night on the Kelly File at Fox News. She had clearly violated the law with that homebrew server that had been accessed by foreign agents. She compromised national intelligence information. She did things she would never have allowed anybody at the State Department to do under her.
The core of Hillary's brand, the seasoned stateswoman, performance was the target of Kelly's attack. Hillary didn't weather the political storms through brilliance. She survived by hiding behind powerful connections and influence that shielded her from consequences that crushed weaker players. Her time in the spotlight was not evidence of extraordinary ability. Kelly asserted that it was proof of how the system defends its own when the central name is useful enough.
Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
First of all, she came out before the sun had risen to concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
Kelly then drove home the sense of entitlement. The "you owe me" undertone has always been present in Hillary's public persona. Every campaign, every speech, every planned appearance carries the assumption that she is the only adult in the room, the safe option. Kelly reminded her audience that inevitability is just hubris in a well-tailored suit. Taking trust for granted doesn't build it, you earn it by delivering. And despite all the praise, Kelly demanded to know, where were Hillary's groundbreaking results?
And that leaves me back to Schellenberger here. This is page 4 of his report. He writes as follows: the Russian reports, again, that the Dutch spied on, that we got our hands on, also claimed, and listen to this, I mean, you probably already know this stuff, Glenn, but claimed that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, okay, this is back in 2016, people, remember, Obama's president, Loretta Lynch is his Attorney General, and her DOJ/FBI are investigating the Hillary Clinton email scandal. And also now we learn simultaneously working with the Hillary Clinton campaign to bury that scandal in favor of calling Trump a Russian agent. Okay.
Kelly rejected the idea that Hillary's career was one of tireless public service. Instead, she framed it as a self-service masterclass in methodical climb up the ladder regardless of how many scandals tried to undermine her. Whitewater, Benghazi, and the Secret Server should have been politically devastating. But instead of facing the damage head-on, Hillary always focused on the next opportunity before the dust settled. Kelly said it was like stepping into a brand new photo op just after walking out of a burning building.
Okay. I mean, she conceded the election. Whether you're interpreting her disappointment at losing it as the same thing as Trump not conceding it, I don't know if that's where you're getting it from. But again, it's a tremendous false equivalency. You could ask Hillary Clinton right now who won that election. She will tell you. Donald Trump won the election.
Now she knows she has to because of what Trump...
She didn't spare the hypocrisy either. Hillary's public image emphasizes advocacy for the underprivileged, the working class, and the marginalized. Yet her donor lists and inner circle look like a world power summit filled with questionable foreign leaders, Wall Street tycoons, and privileged backers who wouldn't recognize a regular American unless one was serving drinks at their fundraiser. Kelly hammered this point relentlessly. You cannot claim to be the people's advocate while taking money from the very forces keeping those people down.
She got away with murder. Lock her up was right and righteous. And Trump actually should have gone after her when he took office back in 17, January of 17. The only reason it appears that the FBI didn't go after her is because the fix was in. And Loretta Lynch was really clear she wasn't going to do that to Hillary and was telling the Hillary campaign.
The 2016 campaign was a complete disaster, and Kelly poked at it with ease. It was run like a coronation tour based on the assumption that voters would love her. Hillary didn't run on inspiration, but on inevitability. Kelly argued, cutting through excuses to say she simply wasn't the best candidate, out of touch with voters. She also hid behind the Clinton Foundation, which Kelly called an access machine posing as a charity.
This woman should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent in order to distract.
Hillary's efforts to reinvent herself were just as hollow. Every few years, she unveiled a new tone, a new look, a slightly altered personality supposedly fresh. But Kelly cut through the wardrobe changes like a surgeon. Kelly called out Hillary's scripted moments as fake, arguing authenticity can't be staged. She criticized the media for shielding her by dismissing scandals, saying this replaced facts with propaganda. Behind the lofty delivery, Kelly said, "We're only cliches, empty calories without substance."
Look, we kind of have to do this for window dressing, but don't worry, I've got you. That's what's alleged in these documents. And Hillary has been acting like she's the one who's been wronged. This is all a made-up scandal, and the evil Trump who said she ought to be behind bars is so out of line. Meanwhile, Trump didn't do it. Everybody knows Trump didn't go after her criminally with his DOJ when he took office. And yet, as soon as he was out of office, they did it to him.
Hillary has mastered presenting herself as a resolute advocate for women, but Kelly wasn't convinced. True advocacy means putting the cause above oneself. Hillary, Kelly argued, has always fused the two. Supporting women means supporting Hillary. Criticizing her means undermining women's rights. This was less about feminism and more about political cover dressed as moral superiority. Kelly also highlighted Hillary's post-Washington career, costly speaking gigs, media appearances, endless tour. It was the life of a professional politician and self-preservationist who convinced the world that existing was the same as leading.
She made up a scandal about Trump being a Russian asset. And they banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie, and it appears they were only too happy to assist. That's what this scandal's about. Pieces of it we knew. New pieces are coming in by the day thanks to these declassifications. And it's downright shocking. Do not believe that there's no there there. The people who are saying that are wrong.
Hillary's image reinventions have become a national joke. Coffee shop drop-ins, awkward laugh sessions, and staged relatable moments more scripted than Broadway all form part of the carousel. One year she's the grandmother next door baking cookies, the next she's the fearless world leader auditioning for commander-in-chief in a political thriller. Yet the scriptedness is always more consistent than the message. Her talking points are paired with sitcom-like cues and rehearsed emotion, as if someone off-camera were signaling when to smile. For decades, she's promised that at the right time she explain everything, but when the moment comes, it's only more evasions, altered histories, and vague language. Instead of clarity, it's selective recall.
God bless our servicemen and women, the guys in uniform, the guys who liberated the world. Such a great reminder of the best America has to offer and the responsibility we all share in securing our nation's future. Unfortunately, this being political season, not everyone took the high road. Take a look at this tweet from Hillary Clinton. 80 years ago today, thousands of brave Americans fought to protect democracy on the shores of Normandy. This November, all we have to do is vote. She can't let it go, even on a day like this. Well, to her, because for the rest of us, our minds and our hearts are in the right place.
Kelly's analysis of Hillary's tendency to portray herself as the victim of smear campaigns is spot on. Even when Hillary's own actions triggered the scandals, she cast herself as misunderstood. Accountability becomes a group effort where blame is diluted until it vanishes. Kelly's roast grew sharper as she dissected Hillary's brand of feminism, less about empowering women, more about shielding her own image. Criticism is reframed as sexism, even when it targets specific policies or actions. The presidency wasn't just assumed possible. It was treated as inevitable, as though history itself owed her the office. When reality derailed that plan, it wasn't acknowledged as a failure of her strategy or her bond with voters. Instead, it was framed as a national error, a cosmic fluke that disrupted destiny. Kelly mocked Hillary's media games, noting how she praised flattering coverage but cried bias when challenged. Even in candid moments, manipulation lingered, misdirection, blame shifting, rehearsed lines. The illusion of change has worn thin. She remains the same political manipulator. As ever,